Luffy's mother is... wait for it, M. The story of One Piece is currently reaching its climax, and one character that's getting a lot of attention lately is Luffy's mother. After a little digging, we've found out she must be a celestial dragon, and we even think there's a chance that she's the mysterious M. Hello everyone, we're One Piece fanatics! Today we'll introduce and thoroughly analyze the character of Luffy's mother. Warning, this video contains spoilers up to chapter 1052. In chapter 1049, Luffy defeats Kaido with a new technique, the Gumu Gumu no Bajrang. It's easy to miss out, but this technique's name actually holds key information. That's because the written form of Bajrang uses the kanji of monkey and god. The monkey from this technique's name obviously refers to our main character, Monkey D. Luffy. And because Luffy awakened the Nika model of the mythical Hito Hito no Mi, then the god part must refer to the sun god Nika. Those two kanji, monkey and god, can also be read together as Sarogami, a monkey god that was worshipped as the messenger of a sun deity. Also, Bajrang is another name for Hanuman, a monkey god from Hindu mythology. It's well known that Oda-sensei is inspired by myths and other folklore to foreshadow events in One Piece, so we think it's possible that the name of this technique holds key information to the story. And we think that this might help us to figure out who Luffy's mother is, even if she hasn't been mentioned yet in One Piece. We already know about Luffy's foster mother, the mountain bandit Curly Dadan. In 2008, in the North American SBS, Oda-sensei writes about Luffy's mother. I'm still thinking hard about this. But if she does appear in the story, then she'll be a very tough-looking woman. There's no way that she's a beautiful mother. She's like a typical middle-aged woman with permed hair. This interview was done before Dadan appeared in One Piece. And don't you think that a woman Oda-sensei describes fits Dadan's image perfectly? But that's not all. Oda-sensei also writes that you can still call someone who's not related by blood your family. So he was already thinking that while Dadan raised Luffy with care, she would not be his birth mother. But now, we think that a Bajrang technique will give us clues as to the identity of Luffy's birth mother and Dragon's wife. So today, let's find out who's Luffy's birth mother. Bajrang technique. What's hidden behind its written form? We think that we can work out Luffy's family through the name Bajrang. Like we explained earlier, Bajrang is another name of the monkey god Hanuman, an important figure from Ramayana, a poem from Hindu mythology. So next, let's check out Hanuman's father. His father is the wind god Vayu, who controls the winds in Hindu mythology. And Luffy's father is Monkey D. Dragon. In One Piece, there are often gusts of wind when Dragon appears, so we believe he's the user of a devil fruit with wind abilities. Isn't it interesting how the element wind seems to connect those two characters? If Oda-sensei based Luffy's character on Hanuman, then he could have also based Luffy's father Dragon on Vayu, the god of the wind. And if that's right, then Luffy's mother would also follow the same pattern. So we can safely assume that Luffy's mother is based on Hanuman's mother. Let's take a look at who Hanuman's mother is, shall we? She's the heavenly maiden Anjana. There are not many details on the heavenly maiden Anjana in Ramayana, but it seems that she was a water spirit, a nymph. If Oda-sensei was inspired by the element wind of dragon, then he was maybe inspired by the title Heavenly Maiden for Luffy's mother. So what kind of character would a heavenly maiden be in One Piece? We think that there are two possibilities. The first is that she's a maiden, a woman, that lives in the heavens, the sky. So it would mean that she's a Sky Island resident. The second is that she's a celestial dragon. Let's look at both possibilities in more detail. There's of course the Lunarians, a race of humans that have wings on their backs. But it seems that when Kaido rescued King, King's race was already almost extinct, as it appears that he's one of the last survivors of his race. There's a very low chance that we'll see another Lunarian. Furthermore, Luffy did not inherit any of the features that the Lunarians possess: dark skin, white hair, and black wings, so the chances that Luffy's mother is also a Lunarian seems quite low. The Sky Island residents also have wings on their back, so as we haven't seen any evidence that Luffy has inherited such traits, the possibility that his mother is from there is also thin. So the most likely option is that Luffy's mother is a celestial dragon. And the part of this option is that if Luffy's mother is a celestial dragon, then she would have a natural connection to Luffy's father, Dragon. Dragon comes from Goa Kingdom, which is part of the World Government's alliance. Did you know about the World Government's inspection team during East Blue? In the conversation between Steri and Sabo in chapter 586, we understand that the inspectors of the world government are visiting Goa Kingdom. This time, the ship has a world noble, a celestial dragon. From Steri's comment, we can assume that inspectors do regular checks and celestial dragons sometimes are with them. This means that if Luffy's mother is a celestial dragon, then she and Dragon had the opportunity to meet. So from what we've gathered, it seems that a heavenly maiden can be interpreted as a celestial dragon in the world of One Piece. Let's review what we've seen so far. First, Oda-sensei was inspired by Hindu mythology for Luffy's family. Second, Luffy is Hanuman, Dragon is the wind god Vayu, and Luffy's mysterious mother is the heavenly maiden Anjana. Finally, we can assume from the first 2 points that Luffy's birth mother is a celestial dragon. Luffy's parents are both pirates! Next, we can think about what happened after Luffy's parents met. Basically, we believe that Dragon left for the sea and became a pirate after meeting Luffy's mother. So it's possible that before becoming a revolutionary, Dragon was a pirate. Our theory is based on the conversation between Makino and the village chief of Fusha Village, Woodslap, in chapter 96. When a bounty was put on Luffy's head for the first time, Makino showed Luffy's wanted poster to Woodslap. While Makino was happy that Luffy seemed to enjoy himself, the village chief grumbles, "A pirate is a pirate." Their following conversation is revealing. It's his dream after all. Are you worried about him? Is it his dream or his fate? Like Makino says, it's easy to understand that Luffy's dream is to become a pirate, as becoming one is the first step to achieve his ambition, becoming the Pirate King. But it's a bit weird when Whoopslap wonders if pirating is not in fact Luffy's destiny. We find it weird because his grandfather Garp is a marine, and his father Dragon is a revolutionary. So why does the village chief talk of destiny? We think there are 2 possibilities. It's Luffy's destiny because 1. He's from the family of D, or 2. He has the blood of pirates. Let's start with the first possibility. It's because he's from the family of D. So it would mean that he became a pirate because he's from this particular family. But it's a little bit strange, right? Because we know of other characters who belong to this family but who are not pirates, right? Like Garp and Soul, for example. So only the second option is possible. Luffy became a pirate because he has pirate blood in his veins. But as we explained before, the family members of Luffy that we know of are Garp, a marine, and Dragon, a revolutionary. And in the story, we haven't been told that either of them left Fusha Village as pirates. If we check their Viv records, it's clearly written that Garp joined the Marines 56 years ago. But for Dragon, his Viv record doesn't give us the details of his backstory. And we'll talk about this in more detail later on. Garp hates pirates, whereas Dragon is friendly towards them. So it wouldn't come as a surprise if we learned that Dragon was a pirate before becoming a revolutionary. And if it's Luffy's fate to become a pirate because of his pirate heritage, then Luffy's mother could also be a pirate. We know that we just said that Luffy's mother might be a celestial dragon, but this doesn't rule out the possibility that she was also a pirate at some point in her life. We've already seen this case with Doflamingo. So it's not completely out of the question that Luffy's mother was both a celestial dragon and a pirate. But this is, of course, only one speculation, as the identity of Luffy's mother is still shrouded in mystery. Why did Dragon become a pirate? We now want to explore in a bit more depth the theory of Dragon being a pirate in the past. We have 3 reasons that lean toward this theory. Number 1. Dragon is sympathetic towards other pirates. Number 2. Many revolutionaries used to be pirates at some point in their lives. And number 3. Dragon witnessed Roger's execution. Let's check out each of those reasons. So, the first one is Dragon's sympathetic attitude towards other pirates. We think that Dragon is friendly to them because he used to be one of them. Even though he's a revolutionary now, he seemed pleased that his son Luffy became a pirate. A pirate? That's fine too. In chapter 100, when Dragon saves Luffy in Logtown, he also doesn't stop his son from sailing away as a pirate. Those of you who wish to join me in a battle for freedom, board my ship. Also, in chapter 587, as Great Terminal is burning, Dragon invites all of the refugees to join his crew, no matter who they are. Given that they lived in Great Terminal, it wouldn't be a surprise that some of them are ex-pirates. As all are welcomed, it seems that the Dragon doesn't discriminate against pirates. The second reason as to why Dragon might have been a pirate is that there's a surprisingly large number of revolutionaries that have connections with piracy. The first character that comes to mind is Bartholomew Kuma. He's a member of the Revolutionary Army and infiltrated the 7 warlords of the sea. Before becoming a revolutionary, Kuma was the king of Sorbet Kingdom in South Blue, so it's obviously very unlikely that he had any experience as a pirate while he ruled his kingdom. So there's a possibility that he was able to become a warlord of the sea because someone showed him the ropes while in the Revolutionary Army. Other characters with pirate connections are Sabo, who wanted to become a pirate, and the fishman Hack, who's friends with Jinbei, the captain of the Sun Pirates. The third and final reason why we think Dragon is a pirate is that he witnessed the Pirate King's execution in Lowtown. We learn from the bonus chapter, Chapter 0, Strong World, that Dragon was present at Roger's execution 24 years ago. It hasn't been confirmed, but we think that there's a very high chance that the Dragon hadn't yet formed the Revolutionary Army at that point. That's because Dragon's face didn't have any tattoos at the time of Roger's execution. Today, a tattoo has most of the time a personal meaning behind it. But in older times, tattoos were for religious reasons or to show your belonging to a certain group or a belief. This could mean that 24 years ago, Dragon didn't want to change the world. Also, the earliest mention of the Revolutionary Army so far only dates back around 10 years ago. The Light of the Revolution? That's the name by which we've called you while searching for you for over 10 years. Yep, the Revolutionary Army's oldest known operation is the search for Robin, the last survivor of Ohara. So according to the information that we currently have on the Revolutionary Army, we think that it was formed to search for Robin, the Light of the Revolution. So it's highly unlikely that it was already organized 24 years ago when Dragon was in Lowtown. So if Dragon was not a revolutionary at the time of Roger's execution, what was he doing there? Furthermore, in Chapter 0, Dragon appears next to characters like Doflamingo, Buggy, Mihawk, Crocodile, Moria, and Shax, and they're all pirates. So we can assume that Dragon was also a pirate at the time. All of what we've mentioned so far seems to point at Dragon being a pirate before his time as a revolutionary. And if you're a pirate, then it would be normal to take the woman you love on your boat to be with you, even if that woman is a celestial dragon. So maybe Dragon fell in love with Luffy's mother and sailed away with her. Who is the woman Dragon sailed away with? So which celestial dragon did Luffy's father fall in love with? Well, we've come to the conclusion that this woman is actually the mysterious M. Before we explain why we think it's M that Dragon sailed away with, we'll first explain why we think M is a woman. There are 2 reasons why we think that. The first one is M's silhouette, and the second is of small details in the story that would point towards M being a woman. Let's first talk about M's silhouette. The first time we see M is in Chapter 906. There, M is wearing what looks like a dark robe and is so long that it drags behind her. As the robe is fitted snugly around its owner's body, we can make out a slender figure underneath. Let's now look at our second reason. M only appears in a few scenes, but in them, there are a few details that give her feminine characteristics. For example, there's the Room of Flowers in Pangaea Castle. In Chapter 908, for some reason, the name of this room is given. We see M in a room full of flowers and with butterflies fluttering around. This room has a distinct feminine atmosphere. Then, when M walks towards the empty throne, advancing, we can hear her steps. They make a tap-tap noise, as if she's wearing heels. That's why we think that there's a high possibility that M is a woman. Now, why do we think that the celestial dragon that Luffy's father sailed away with is M? We think it has to do with M's position and Dragon's title. Let's take a look at them one by one. The first important thing to note is M's place in the story. M is the only character that has sat on the empty throne and that brought the 5 elders to their knees. This means that M is the most powerful of all the celestial dragons. And this could mean that M is the secret treasure of Marijois. Has he arrived, the assassin, to make sure I don't spill the beans on Marijois' secret treasure? In Chapter 906, we see Doflamingo laughing like a maniac whilst being held in Impel Down. Just after this scene, we see M staring at a giant straw hat. At first glance, we might think that Marijois' secret treasure is the giant straw hat. But Doflamingo also said at that time, "Who cares if people find out? Authority has a very short shelf life. It spoils faster than you'd believe." As Doflamingo talks about authority, he might not actually be referring to the giant straw hat. Because honestly, how can a straw hat boss people around? Therefore, we think that this scene is misleading us on purpose, and the actual treasure of Marie-Joie is Im herself, as she is the most powerful celestial dragon. But there's another thing that we need to take into consideration, and that's Dragon's title. Dragon was labeled by the world government as the world's worst criminal. It's true that Dragon, as the leader of the revolutionary army, is a man with dangerous ideas for the world government, and he did encourage rebellions in many countries. But he's not the only character with dangerous ideas, and that causes trouble for the world government. For example, there's Dr. Clover and the O'Hara scholars, whose research threatened to turn upside down the foundations of the government's power. From them, only Robin is alive today. Another example of a dangerous man is Crocodile. While he was one of the 7 warlords of the sea, he tried to take over the Arabasta kingdom to get his hands on the ancient weapon Pluton, a weapon that the world government finds extremely dangerous. And there's of course our main guy Luffy. Let's not forget that he dared to attack Enies Lobby, a government stronghold, broke and impelled down a government prison, and triggered the start of the Summit War, among other acts that could never be forgiven by the world government. We find it really intriguing that out of all those dangerous criminals, only Dragon is called the world's worst criminal. But this is where we find a connection between Dragon and Im. We said just before that Im is the most powerful of all celestial dragons, and probably the secret treasure of Marie-Joie. But what if such an important person had been taken away by Dragon? Then, for the world government, wouldn't that person deserve the title of the world's worst criminal? So this is why we think Im is the woman that Dragon took with him, and why he acquired such an infamous title. Im and Dragon, two opposites. So if Dragon and Im are indeed husband and wife, then we have one question. Why are they now so different? One is the head of the revolutionary army, and the other, the world government's highest authority. There must be a reason why they're on such opposite sides. We think there are actually 2 possible reasons to explain this situation. The first one is because they had a fallout. The other is that Im is actually acting against her will. Let's first talk about their possible marital problems. So, couple problems might be a bit heavy for shonen manga. The most common reason for a couple to part ways is a change in their relationship that is caused by some kind of difference that cannot be overcome. There are many couples that have appeared in One Piece so far, such as Neptune and Otohime, Igaram and Terracotta, Kiros and Scarlet, and Odin and Toki. There are many heartwarming scenes between the couples, but we've yet to see them fighting each other. So, as I've said, couple problems might be a bit heavy for this shonen manga. And the one reason left is the second one. Im and Dragon are now separated because Im is being forced to act against her beliefs. To understand this better, let's take a look at Im's eyes. Don't you think that Im's eyes look intriguing, with the thin circles surrounding her pupils? And there are actually 2 other characters that have similar eyes, Mihawk and Zunisha. But if you look at the anime supervised by Oda-sensei and his publisher, Shueisha, you'll see that these 3 characters have different eye colors. First, Im has red eyes, while Mihawk has yellow eyes, and Zunisha has dark green eyes. So even though they have the same shapes, as their colors are different, we can't say that they're exactly the same. But there's someone else that appeared recently in the story that has eyes exactly like Im's. Yep, it's our Luffy in his awakened Gear 5th form in Chapter 1044. On the 42nd edition of 2022, the Jump magazine cover shows Luffy in Gear 5th and in full color. On this illustration, Luffy's eyes have a red tint. So it seems that Im and Luffy in Gear 5th have the red eye color in common. And if that's the case, then one question comes to mind. Is Im also a mythical Hito-Hito no Mi user? Hito-Hito no Mi are Zoan devil fruits, and according to the 5 elders in Chapter 1044, Zoan devil fruits have a will of their own. Although Luffy has a strong spirit, the will of Nika, who models Luffy's fruit, took control of Luffy during his fight with Kaido. He was laughing constantly and couldn't control his happy emotions. His behavior changed to the point where Kaido asked, "Who are you?" So if Im did eat a Zoan devil fruit, there's a possibility that the fruit's will took over Im's mind and made her act against her wishes. If this theory is correct, then it would explain why Dragon and Im are in a conflict. Also, if Im's mind is being under the influence of a devil fruit, then it would also explain why Dragon is fighting against the world government. He wants his wife back. Oda-sensei's comment on Mother. Today is all about Luffy's mother, and Oda-sensei talked about his view on motherhood in the SBS of Volume 78. Why is it that there's an abnormally extensive number of characters in One Piece who have unknown or already deceased mothers? The answer is simple. That's because mother is an antonym for adventure. From Oda-sensei's comment, we understand that Luffy doesn't need a mother, so it makes sense to analyze her character from her relation with her husband Dragon, rather than with her son Luffy. But it doesn't mean that Oda-sensei will never show us Luffy's mother, because the mothers of many important characters have already appeared in the story, even though they only had a minor role. For example, we saw Ace's mother, Portgas de Rouge, Sanji's mother, Vinsmoke Sora, Usopp's mother, Bakina, so Luffy's mother could still definitely make an appearance in the story. So today's conclusion is that the woman who Dragon sailed away with is the mysterious M, Luffy's mother. With this in mind and reading Oda-sensei's words again, we understand this. Mother is the antonym for adventure, meaning that at the end of each of our adventures, we return to our mother's arms. So yeah, we think that when Luffy reaches M, his mother, the story of One Piece will come to an end. So that's our theory on Luffy's mother, but what do you guys think? There are many theories on Luffy's mother because we have literally no concrete information on her, so we'd love to hear your theories and predictions in the comments section below. We'll continue to try to figure out the great mysteries in One Piece, so don't forget to subscribe if you want to learn more. That's it for today. See you in our next video.